first time I kissed her, my wedding ring was still warm from washing dishes at home. I felt the heat of it against her cheek when I touched her face. That was 3 months ago. What I'm about to tell you isn't really about the affair. It's about the experiment I didn't know I was conducting on myself, about the slow disappearance of a man inside his own life. I walked into our kitchen wearing a bright yellow polo shirt. I never wear yellow. I hate yellow. But that morning I pulled it from the back of my closet, something my mother-in-law gave me years ago, and I put it on. Then I just stood there, watching. My wife Sarah made coffee, packed the kids' lunches, turkey sandwich for Emma, no crusts, PB&J for Max, cut diagonal. She checked her phone. She looked up at me, looked right at me, 4 separate times in 15 minutes. Not once did she mention the shirt. Not once did her eyes register anything different. Anything at all. I started keeping a journal after that. Blue. Notebook. Hidden in my car. Dates, times, little experiments. Week 1. I shaved my beard. I'd had that beard for 8 years. Our entire marriage, basically. Sarah noticed 3 days later, and only because her mother said something at Sunday dinner. "Oh, Mark finally shaved," her mom said. Sarah looked at me like she was seeing my face for the first time that week. "Oh yeah," she said. "When did you do that?" I told her Monday. It was Thursday. Week 3, I stopped sleeping under the covers. Just laid on top of them, fully clothed some nights. We shared a bed every single night, and she didn't ask me why for 11 days. On day 12, she said, "Are you hot or something?" Not concern, mild curiosity. Week 5, I stopped saying I love you, just to see, to test how long it would take before she noticed the absence of those 3 words. 19 days. Over 2.5 weeks before she paused one morning and said, "You've been weird lately." Not, "I miss you saying it," just weird. I wasn't trying to prove she didn't love me. I think that's important to understand. I was trying to prove I still existed, that I was still a real person taking up real space in the world, because somewhere along the way, I'd become furniture, useful, comfortable, completely invisible. Our daughter's 7th birthday party. Sarah invited her new work friends, the ones she talked about constantly. Jessica and Priya and Tom from accounting. I'm standing there, holding a tray of cut vegetables nobody's eating, and Sarah's doing introductions. This is Jessica. She just moved here from Portland. This is Priya. She's the one I told you about with the twins. And this is... She gestured at me. Pause. Actual pause. This is my husband. Not, this is Mark. My husband. Like she'd forgotten my name. I said it for her. Mark. I'm Mark. She laughed, touched my arm. That performative thing you do when you're embarrassed. But here's what broke something in me. Emma heard it. Our daughter was standing right there, holding her new doll, and she heard her mother forget her father's name. I saw Emma's face. This confused look, this flicker of something like fear, like she was watching me disappear in real time. I crashed my car on a Tuesday. Nothing major. Black ice, slid into a guardrail. Bumper crunched. I called Sarah from the side of Route 9, hands still shaking. She answered on the 4th ring. I said, "Hey, I just got in a minor accident. I'm fine, but..." She cut me off. "Okay, just handle it. I'm in a meeting." "No, are you hurt?" "No, where are you?" "Just handle it." Click. I sat in that car on the side of the highway for 20 minutes. Not because I was injured, because I realized something. I could have been hurt. I could have been really hurt. And her first response was logistics. That night at dinner, she didn't ask about it, so I didn't mention it. 3 days later, she noticed I was driving a rental. "Where's your car?" she asked. I said, "I crashed it Tuesday." She stopped mid-bite. You did? Why didn't you tell me? I just looked at her. I did, I said. She had no memory of it. Her name was Jenna. We met at a Home Depot on a Saturday morning. I was buying a 3/8 drill bit, this completely boring specific thing, for a shelf I was building in the garage. Sarah didn't know I'd started woodworking. I'd been doing it for 6 months. Jenna was in the same aisle, staring at a wall of screws, with this overwhelmed expression. She looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "You look like someone who actually knows what that's for." She pointed at the drill bit in my hand. We talked for 40 minutes, aisle 7 of a Home Depot in Parsippany, New Jersey, about nothing, cordless drills, her kitchen renovation, my woodworking. She asked questions, real questions. What are you building? Why'd you choose pine? What got you into this? When I walked to my car, I was shaking. Not from attraction, not really. From recognition. Someone had looked at me and seen a person, a whole person with thoughts and hobbies and opinions. I went back to that Home Depot the next Saturday. Jenna was there. We got coffee. Then it was coffee every week. Then it was texts. Then it became more. For 2 months I lived in 2 completely separate worlds. In one world I was invisible. I could walk through my living room and Sarah's eyes would slide right past me, like I was air. In the other world, Jenna asked me things. Why do you furrow your brow when you're thinking? What's that scar on your hand from? What makes you laugh? Little things. Tiny things. But those tiny things are the entire texture of being human. The really twisted part? Sarah started noticing me again. Because I was different at home, because Jenna made me feel real, I started showing up differently in my marriage. I smiled more, made eye contact, told stories at dinner, and Sarah responded. You seem happy lately, she said one night. It's nice. You seem like you're actually here. The thing I was doing to escape was somehow fixing what was broken. And that's when I understood the horrible truth. Sarah didn't make me invisible. I made myself invisible first. Somewhere around year 6 or 7, I stopped trying. Stopped talking about my day because she seemed tired. Stopped sharing my ideas because she had work stress. Stopped taking up space because I thought that's what good husbands do. You make yourself smaller. You fade into the background. You become support staff in your own life. I ended it with Jenna 2 weeks ago. Then I told Sarah everything. Not because I'm noble. I'm not. Because I couldn't live with the logic anymore. It was eating me alive. I couldn't keep living in that contradiction. We were sitting at the kitchen table. Kids asleep upstairs. I said, I need to tell you something. She put down her phone. For the first time in maybe years, she really looked at me. Full eye contact, total attention. She said, You're scaring me. I said, I had an affair. She didn't cry. Not at first. She went very still. Then she said 3 words that destroyed me. I know. I felt the room tilt. What? She said, Not specifically, but I knew something was happening. You came back to life. I thought maybe you'd made a friend, started therapy, something. I didn't want to ask because I was just grateful you were back. We sat there for 3 hours, both crying, both confessing. She told me about the nights she felt like a machine. Mom machine, wife machine, employee machine. How she couldn't remember the last time someone asked what she wanted, what she thought, who she was underneath all those roles. We'd been running the same experiment, both of us testing how long we could go unnoticed. Both of us waiting for the other person to see us first. We turned our marriage into a mutual vanishing act. We're still together. Not because we fixed everything, we haven't. Sarah goes to therapy on Wednesdays. I go Thursdays. Couples therapy on Saturdays. It's awkward and hard, and some days I genuinely don't know if we'll make it. But last week, something happened. I walked into the kitchen wearing that same yellow shirt from a year ago. The experiment shirt. Sarah stopped, looked at me, really looked, and said, "I hate that shirt. You look like a sad banana." And I laughed. Actually laughed, because she saw me, even if it was to criticize my shirt. She saw me. I kept one thing from the affair. The journal, the blue notebook with all my experiments, all those dates and times I tested my own invisibility. Sometimes I flip through it. Not because I'm proud, because it reminds me of something important. The cruelest thing you can do to another person isn't betrayal. It's looking right through them while they're standing in front of you begging to be seen. I don't know if my marriage will survive my attempt to prove I existed, but I know this. I'm done being invisible, even if it costs me everything.